What's going on, Bills Mafia? We're back with another deep dive into everything happening around your Buffalo Bills. And let me tell you, this team isn't sitting still. From building chemistry on the field to tough front office decisions, the Bills are doing whatever it takes to keep improving. Whether it's adding pieces, letting go of old ones, or giving veterans one last chance. Everything happening right now is about one thing: getting over the hump and bringing that Lombardi to Buffalo. So before we jump into today's double scoop of big news, James Cook's contract standoff, and the emotional return of Tre'Davious White, do your part, Mafia. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment with your take. We read every single one. Let's get into it. Let's start with what everyone's talking about right now, the James Cook trade rumors. Yeah, they're getting real. So here's the scoop. Cook did not show up to the Bills' voluntary offseason workouts. And while that might not seem like a huge deal on the surface, context is everything. Cook is entering the final year of his rookie contract, and he's looking for a serious payday. We're talking $15 million per year. That would put him right up there with the elite tier of running backs. Think Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, top of the market kind of money. But here's the issue. The Bills just don't have the cap space for it. Right now, they're hovering around $4 to $5 million available. That's not even enough to cover emergency signings during the season, let alone give a running back a long-term mega deal. Now, let's be clear. Cook has been nothing short of a beast. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, a league-leading 16 rushing, touchdowns in 2024, and a true dual-threat option out of the backfield. He's only 25 years old, entering his prime, and frankly, he's earned the right to ask for a big extension. But the question isn't just if he's worth the money. It's about whether the Bills can afford to build their team that way. Head. Coach Sean McDermott has always leaned on a running back by committee approach. Even when Cook was dominating, he wasn't getting Derrick Henry-type volume. GM Brandon Beane recently said that talks with Cook's camp aren't close, which is GM speak for this could go south. So what does that mean for Cook's future? In Buffalo, the writing might be on the wall. With the team in a cap crunch and Cook's value sky high, a trade could actually make sense, financially and strategically. And here's another layer to this story. The 2025 NFL Draft is stacked with running backs. I'm talking one of the deepest RB classes in years. You've got Ashton Jeanty, Omarion Hampton, Tre'Davious Henderson, Caleb Johnson, and that's just the top shelf. There are starter-level guys projected to be available well into rounds 3 and 4. Buffalo has a history of letting backs go when their price tag gets too high and drafting their replacements. LaShawn McCoy, Devin Singletary, now potentially James Cook. And let's not forget Ray Davis is already on the roster, a young, cheap option who the team reportedly loves. So if you're Brandon Beane, do you pay $15 million for a position that can be filled in the draft for a fraction of the cost? Now, if the Bills do pull the trigger and trade James Cook, here are a few teams to keep your eyes on. Cleveland Browns. With Nick Chubb hitting free agency and coming off a serious injury, the Browns need a reliable RB1, Cook behind that offensive line. Scary Dallas Cowboys. Let's face it, the Cowboys are desperate for a lead back. Tony Pollard's gone and the depth chart is thin. Oh, and don't forget Ken Dorsey, Cook's former OC, is now in Dallas. That's a natural fit. Lalas. Vegas Raiders. With Josh Jacobs out of the picture, Vegas never really replaced him. Cook could be the centerpiece of an offense still trying to find its identity. These teams have money. They have needs. And most importantly, they have draft picks to offer. Now let's switch gears and talk about one of the most heartwarming stories of this offseason. Tre'Davious White is back. Yeah, you heard that right. The two-time All-Pro corner who once defined this defense is back in Buffalo on a short-term deal. And while nothing's guaranteed, GM Brandon Beane said it best. How can you not root for him? White, now 30 years old, spent last year bouncing between the Rams and Ravens after a tough run with injuries. But he's healthy now, and the Bills are giving him a chance. Not just to be in the building, but to compete for a starting job. Buffalo's secondary has gone through some changes. Rasul Douglas is still a free agent. But Christian Benford has stepped up big time, becoming one of the most underrated lockdown corners in the league. Add to that some exciting young depth, and you've got a unit with promise, but also questions. That's where Trey comes in. If he's even 80% of what he once was, he could start opposite Benford and bring much needed experience and leadership. He knows the system, he knows McDermott, and most importantly, he knows what it takes to win. White recently said, being back here where it all started is full circle. And this is how it's supposed to be for me. Chills, man. For a player who once carried the defense and then lost so much to injury, this is more than just a comeback, it's redemption. This move isn't just about roster depth. It's about culture. It's about respect. Giving White a shot to finish what he started in Buffalo sends a message to the locker room. Loyalty matters. And with young players watching, this kind of gesture helps cement the Bills as a franchise that takes care of its own. He'll have to earn it, no doubt. But with Douglas still unsigned, the path is there. So here we are, Bills Mafia, two very different stories with one common thread. The future. James Cook could be on his way out, a victim of the salary cap and Buffalo system. Tre'Davious White, meanwhile, is getting one last shot at glory in the city that made him a star. It's tough to say goodbye to fan favorites, but these are the hard decisions that great teams have to make. Bean and McDermott aren't afraid to pivot when they have to. And that's exactly why this team is always in the playoff mix. Buffalo's pass rush has gone through a serious evolution this offseason. Von Miller is gone. His time in Buffalo didn't quite live up to expectations, and the team decided to cut ties and move on. Enter Joey Bosa, the former Pro Bowler with freakish talent, signed to a one-year deal. And while the upside is high, Bosa comes with his own set of concerns, most notably injuries. He's missed 17 games over the past 2 seasons. This is very much a prove-it year for him. Then you've got Greg Rousseau, who's been a steady force and is locked in as a long-term piece of the defensive puzzle. But on the other side, AJ Epineza is in the final year of his deal, and there's no guarantee he's coming back after 2025. So what does that leave the Bills with? A talented trio for now, but with major question marks in 2026 and beyond. That's why this draft could be the moment the Bills plant the flag on their edge rusher of the future. And according to new reports, that guy might be Landon Jackson, a 6'6", 264-pound edge threat out of Arkansas. Let's talk about the man of the hour. Landon Jackson isn't your average day 2 pick. This dude has been wrecking offensive lines in the SEC. Over his final 2 seasons with the Razorbacks, Jackson racked up 13 sacks with 6.5 in each of the last 2 years. Add in his early production, and he finished with 16 total career sacks. He's explosive off the line, uses his length to create separation, and plays with an edge that scouts absolutely love. At the Senior Bowl, he flashed real upside as a high motor guy with NFL-ready tools. Matt Perino of Syracuse.com laid it out in his mock draft. Buffalo trading up to the 46th overall pick to land Jackson. The deal? The Bills give up picks 56, 132, and 173 all day 2 and 3 capital to jump 10 spots and secure their guy. On paper, that's a win. According to the NFL draft trade value chart, the Bills would actually be getting more value than they're giving up. It's a strategic forward-thinking move. And if Jackson pans out, man, we're talking about building the next wave of pressure. Behind Rousseau. Now let's talk fit, because that's everything when it comes to young pass rushers. Jackson isn't a finished product. He's still developing his technique, especially as a pass rusher. But what makes this intriguing is how perfect a landing spot Buffalo would be. Think about it. He wouldn't have to start right away. With Bosa, Rousseau, and Epineza handling most of the snaps, Jackson can learn, grow, and contribute situationally. Defensive coordinator Bobby Babich can ease him in, sharpening his skills while letting him feast on 3rd and long snaps. Ash Ryan, Fowler of the Draft Network, said it best. Jackson looks best suited to be a run-stopping DE in a 4-3 scheme. And guess what? That's exactly what the Bills run. He's long, physical, and nasty in the trenches. The kind of guy who could eventually line up opposite Rousseau for years and become a cornerstone piece on a defense that's always been built on discipline, athleticism, and versatility. And let's not forget, Buffalo has made it a habit to develop defensive linemen through their system. From Jerry Hughes to Shaq Lawson to Rousseau and Ebenezer, they've had success molding raw prospects into dependable players. So the big question is, why trade up? Why not wait? Here's the deal. If Brandon Beane sees a guy he likes, he's not afraid to go get him. He's done it before. Remember when the Bills moved up for Josh Allen? Or when they jumped to grab Tremaine Edmonds? When they believe in a player, they make the move. And let's be real, sitting at pick 56, the Bills might not get a shot at a pass rusher like Jackson. This edge class is deep, but the top-end traits don't last long. Teams are hungry for defenders who can get after the quarterback. If Beane thinks Jackson is that guy, then giving up 2 day 3 picks to get a high upside edge at 46 is absolutely worth it, especially when you consider what's at stake beyond 2D25. This move wouldn't just be about filling a hole, it's about building continuity on defense. If Bosa doesn't re-sign next year, if Ebenezer walks in free agency, who do the Bills have as a reliable presence opposite Rousseau? Drafting Landon Jackson now gives Buffalo an insurance policy and a potential breakout star in year 2 or 3. He can learn behind veterans, grow in the system, and be ready to take over when the time comes. It's about thinking ahead, and that's exactly what smart franchises do. All right, Mafia, now I want to hear from you. Should the Bills pay James Cook what he wants? Or is it time to move on and reload through the draft? And what do you think about Tre'Davious White's return? Can he win a starting job? Can he stay healthy and help anchor this secondary again? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. We'll feature some of the best takes in our next video. And don't forget, if you love what we're doing here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat during this wild off season. Until next time, stay strong, stay loud, and stay proud. Bills Mafia, let's bring that trophy home. Go Bills.